Learning English with English faculties.
Okay, so picture this. You're an incredibly skilled nurse, doctor, or allied health professional. You use fantastic clinical English every single day at work. But then you take the OET listening test, and suddenly you're losing easy marks. It's literally maddening, right? I mean, you understand the medical concepts perfectly. You understand the patient perfectly. But the test paper, it just tells a totally different story. Look, if you felt that frustration, you are definitely not alone. The truth is, having good clinical English just isn't always enough to pass. To actually succeed, you need the right test strategy. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are laser focused on one ultimate goal: equipping you with the exact tools and strategies you need to completely master OET Listening Part A. We're going to stop you from losing those easy marks and help you secure that all-important grade B that regulators require. We're breaking down exactly what the assessors want and exactly how you're going to deliver it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our exact roadmap for today to help lower that test anxiety. We're going to quickly cover what Listening Part A actually is, look at the prediction strategy, compare patient and medical language, uncover the synonym secret, master some tricky pronoun rules, and finally, chart your path to grade B.
Right, starting off with Section 1, What is Listening? Part A. Let's just look at the baseline rules of the test.
Before we get into any of the fancy, advanced strategies, we really have to deeply understand the strict format of the environment we're operating in. Kind of like following a clinical protocol, right? So there are exactly 24 note completion questions in Part A. That means 24 blank spaces on your test paper that you've got to fill in with specific info you hear in the audio recording.
Now those 24 questions, they're split perfectly evenly across two separate patient consultations. Each of these consultations lasts for about 5 minutes. So you'll listen to the first consultation and fill in 12 gaps, and then you'll listen to a completely different second consultation to fill in the remaining 12 gaps.
But here is where your strategy actually begins. You get exactly 30 seconds of absolutely crucial reading time before each recording begins. The voice on the audio will literally say you now have 30 seconds to look at the notes. How you spend these 30 seconds, it's honestly often the difference between passing and failing.
For this whole section, I really want you to shift your mindset. Don't just think of yourself as a listener. Think of yourself as the translator. Your actual job here is to actively bridge the gap between the spoken words you're hearing from the patient and the formal written notes sitting right in front of you. Basically, you're simulating a real-world consultation where you take a patient's natural, everyday complaints and accurately map them onto a set of clinical medical notes.
Which brings us nicely to Section 2, the prediction strategy. This is all about maximizing those 30 seconds of reading time.
See, grade B candidates don't just sit there passively waiting for the audio to start. No way. They use this time to gain a massive cognitive advantage. So here's your 3-step prediction strategy. Step 1, read the heading above the gap. Is it under medical history, current medications? That gives you your context. Step 2, look directly at the words right before and right after the gap. And Step 3, predict the word type. Are you listening for a symptom, a treatment, a medication, maybe a body part? Now, you probably won't guess the exact word, sure, but by anticipating the type of information, your brain is actively hunting for the right answer the second that audio begins.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part, Section 3, is the core conflict of the test. It's patient versus medical language.
There's this fundamental difference between the audio you're hearing in your headphones and the printed test paper you're reading. Think about the audio. Patients naturally speak in everyday language, right? They use emotional descriptions, idioms, really casual phrases. But the medical notes printed on your paper, those are written by a health professional. So they use clinical terms, they're super concise, and they use third-person phrasing. You are listening to casual, everyday speech, but you're reading formal medical summaries.
So how do we handle that disconnect? That's Section 4, the Synonyms secret. It's all about listening for meaning, not exact matches.
And this brilliantly illustrates the biggest trap of all. If you just wait to hear the exact words printed on your page spoken aloud in the audio, you are absolutely guaranteed to miss the answer. You have to listen for the meaning. There's a great example straight from the official OET handbook. The patient on the audio might say, "I get awful headaches that just seem to go on and on." But your test paper says, "persistent headaches," followed by a blank space. Well, the answer for that blank is severe. The patient said awful, but the notes need severe. The patient said go on, but the notes say persistent. Do you see what happened? The word order is completely shifted and synonyms are used. You've got to listen for the meaning behind the words.
All right, moving on to Section 5, Mastering Pronoun Rules. This is the grammatical trap that costs people so many easy marks.
This is a purely mechanical trap, and it is explicitly highlighted in the OET assessment criteria. Imagine you're deep in the test, listening to the audio, and the patient says, with real discomfort in their voice, "My right knee is killing me," and the blank space on your paper is under a heading for location of pain. So, how would you correctly write this down in that blank space? Well, the absolute most crucial point here is this. Do not write "my right knee." If you write "my," it is immediately marked incorrect. Why? Because medical notes are written by the clinician about the patient. They're always in the third person. So you have to perfectly match the patient's gender. If it's a male patient talking, you write his right knee. If it's a female patient, you write her right knee. Always remember your role as the translator taking professional notes.
Let's move to our final stretch and see how this all builds together in Section 6, Your Path to Grade B, focusing on those final tips for test day mechanics.
Okay, we've covered the mental strategies. Now let's just wrap up with a few golden rules for the actual mechanics of test day. When you're filling in those gaps, keep these in mind. First off, you really only need to write single words or short phrases. Definitely do not write full sentences. Second, please don't panic over minor spelling variations. As long as your writing is legible and the assessor knows what you mean, you'll get the mark. Third, never, ever leave a blank. There is zero negative marking in the OET. So if you miss an answer, literally just take your best guess based on the context. And finally, do not add your own outside medical knowledge. Only write down what you actually hear in the recording, nothing else. The whole shebang is just about what's on that tape.
So, you have the protocols, you have the prediction strategy, you know the synonym secret, and you know exactly how to dodge those pesky pronoun traps. You understand that your ultimate job is to be the active translator bridging the gap between the patient's voice and the clinician's pen. So let me ask you, are you ready to translate everyday patient words into Grade B medical notes? I know you are. Start applying these strategies in your very next practice test and just watch how much your scores transform. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and seriously, best of luck with your OET preparation. You've got this.